Welcome to another GiveSI Nonprofit Spotlight. I'm Mark Kiesling, and I'm joined by Brian Croft with the Jackson County CEO Program. Brian?
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here and sharing your story with us. For those who may not be familiar with the CEO programs that are gaining in popularity across the area, how does this program help young people?
So, you know how, I don't know if you hear from people like, I wish there was a class that just taught us how to adult, right?
Right.
That's what this is. And so the history of the CEO class is really interesting. So I'm originally from a small town called Teutopolis, T-Town, home of the wooden shoes, fear of the shoes, you know. And I had a band teacher. This was a long time ago. This was when I was in high school.
Okay.
And he was, he did the whole, what are you going to do for a living kind of thing. And I said, well, he was a documentary filmmaker. And I said, well, that's really cool. And so he was like, well, let me show you some things. And from there, he started a multimedia company. A multimedia class through the school. He went to the school board and said, hey, all I need is $150,000. And the school board goes, sure, go find the $150,000. Well, 3 weeks later, he came back with a $150,000 grant from the state of Illinois, and he started the multimedia production. Now, fast forward, that became the first CEO class ever. So it wasn't even called CEO back then in the early 2000s. And so my band teacher ended up founding the CEO programs. And so now there are over 75 CEO programs across the country. And so really my work here is we all have that teacher, right? That we remember, and they put us, and for me, it was Craig Linvald. He was my band teacher. And
well, shout out to Craig.
Unfortunately, Craig passed away. And so, of course, at his funeral, I'm sobbing. My hero and mentor has just died. And they were like, hey, do you want to help out with Jackson County CEO? And I was like, yes, sure, whatever. And so that's what brought me to the program. And so Jackson CEO has been around for 10 years now. And really, the CEO program is just about getting students. And I think that's the piece. The CEO experience for me was the first time I felt like an adult. I was treated like an adult. And so I got to run a business. I got to do the whole thing. And it's those other things that you learn, right? Leadership, conflict management, all of that kind of stuff. That's the CEO program. It's magic.
Well, you say it helps them be an adult, learn how to be an adult, because we know that there are a lot more responsibilities and things on your shoulder when you're an adult. So what are some of the lessons that they learn through the CEO program?
So the cool thing about the CEO program is that we don't meet in the classroom, right? So throughout the year, you visit anywhere from 50 to 70 local businesses, and then you have between 50 and 70 business leaders, community leaders come and talk to the class. They start off the year with a really cool project where they're given $1 and they have to figure out how to turn the dollar into $100. And then they use that as seed money to do a class business. So then our students are getting ready for the big class business in December. And then after that, each of them will start doing their own individual business.
Okay.
And they will have to create a business plan. They will meet with we have all of the local banks that come, and a loan officer will sit down with them and look at their proposal, and the money that they make from their class business, they get the actual money to start their own individual business. And then the year ends with our trade show. And so it is just, they go in and they'll have a booth, and it's anything from grocery delivery services, lawn care, power washing, arts, painting, the whole kit and caboodle.
So you've been doing this program for about 10 years now?
Yeah.
So how many small businesses have you seen these students launch over that time?
A ton. And it's something as simple as the students refer to, like, this is my side hustle, right? They all have side hustles. But, everything from lawn care to power washing. And some people, it starts off with just, a little extra pocket money. Yeah. But then it kind of turns into these other things. But I think the other thing about the CEO program that is so special, and I can spot a CEO kid.
Really?
And it's the way, it's the way they present themselves. It's the way that they approach sort of their college experience. It not only is it an entrepreneurial program, it is, to me, the best leadership development program that I have seen.
That's fantastic. I know I also work part-time on the SIU campus, and I see so many students these days that avoid eye contact. They're walking around with their headphones on, or they just don't look up as you come by them. And some people have told me that as part of that COVID generation where they were locked inside for so long and isolated that they've kind of lost that skill. So a program like this, I would think, would help them build that skill back.
And that's what I mean when people say, well, how do you notice them, right? It's everything from just like if they were here, they would come right up to you, they would shake your hand, they'd look you in the eye. And not to sound like an old person, but that's a lost art sometimes. And so it's teaching those basic level skills. And here's the kicker. When I was in CEO, Mr. Limbaugh asked us, hey, who sees themselves living in T-Town? You know, that's what we called our town for the rest of our lives. Now, when you grow up in T-Town, all you can think about is leaving T-Town, right? But ironically, the town is filled with 80 to 90% of people who grew up there. And so when he asked us that at the beginning of the semester, there was like 3 people that raised their hands. Everybody else was like, absolutely not, I'm leaving. But then by the end, what he helped us realize is that these small towns are what we make of them.
Yes.
So if there's something in your town that you like, maybe you want a cool coffee shop or a climbing gym or something like that, this next generation, all we have to do is empower them to go do it.
Right.
And give them the tools. And if anything, show them the path to make it less scary to start a business. Because it really is. There's a lot of resources out there, but it's just getting over that initial intimidation. Like, can I start my own business?
Yeah. And knowing where to start.
Right. And so if we can at least get them to realize, hey, you have all of these support systems right here, it really helps.
All right. So people giving to this program through the GiveSI campaign, how will those donations help your program?
So like a lot of things, I mean, budgets are a little tight right now, right? And so the powerful thing about the CEO program is that it often is done on a county basis. So for Jackson County, we serve Alvarado, Trico, Murfreesboro, and Carbondale. But the big piece of this, in the same way, going back to that original story where when Mr. Limbaugh pitched the idea, they said, well, yeah, if you go get the money, then you can do it. Kind of thinking there's no way.
You're right.
It's that same way as we want to, we don't even ask, we don't call them donors. We actually call them investors.
Okay.
Because you are investing in really the future of Jackson County for us. And so the money goes 100% directly back to the program. It pays for, we have a facilitator, not a teacher.
Right.
Right. And that's really what it goes to. It goes to pay for the instruction so that it takes the financial load away from the schools to make this program happen.
All right. Thank you, Brian, for sharing all about it with us today.
Thank you.
If you want to invest in the Jackson County CEO program, you can go to givesi.org. You can also learn about all the other nonprofits across Southern Illinois that your donation will help. And so remember, GiveSI for good forever for Southern Illinois.
GiveSI is made possible by Oasis. We More Better. Video services provided by ManVoice. Additional funding for GiveSI is made possible by these sponsors.